When we think of existential threats to our planet, climate change is often the first thing that comes to mind. Rising temperatures, melting ice caps, and extreme weather events dominate the conversation. It's a slow-moving crisis, one that we can see unfolding over decades, and while it's undoubtedly a major challenge, there's another threat that's far less understood but potentially even more catastrophic. What if I told you there's a looming danger that could strike in an instant with the power to bring our modern civilization to its knees in just a matter of hours? This is the story of coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, and why they could be more threatening than climate change. So, what exactly is a CME? In simple terms, a coronal mass ejection is a massive burst of solar wind and magnetic fields that erupts from the sun's surface. Imagine the sun burping out billions of tons of plasma, highly charged particles that, if directed toward Earth, could have devastating consequences. These solar eruptions are not rare, they're a part of the sun's natural activity cycle. Every 11 years, the sun goes through periods of increased activity known as the solar maximum, where the likelihood of powerful CMEs increases significantly. During these peak periods, the sun is more volatile, spewing out solar flares and CMEs that can travel across space at incredible speeds. Most of the time, these solar storms miss Earth entirely or are deflected by our planet's magnetic field. But every so often, a CME is aimed directly at us. And that's when things can get dangerous. Earth's magnetic field acts as our first line of defense, a shield that protects us from the majority of these charged particles. But what happens when that shield is compromised? Some scientists believe that we may be in the early stages of a magnetic pole shift, a process that could weaken our magnetic field, leaving us more exposed to these solar storms. If a powerful CME were to strike during such a vulnerable time, the consequences could be unprecedented. One of the most immediate dangers of a CME hitting Earth is its potential impact on our electrical grid. The charged particles from a CME can induce powerful electric currents in our power lines, overloading transformers and causing massive blackouts. In 1989, a relatively minor CME caused a 9-hour blackout across the entire province of Quebec, affecting millions of people. But that event was just a preview of what a larger, more direct CME could do. The real nightmare scenario comes from the potential for a major CME to cause continent-wide power outages. Our modern world is built on a delicate web of interconnected systems, all of which rely on electricity. If the power grid goes down on a large scale, it could take weeks, months, or even years to fully restore it. The cascading effects would be catastrophic. Imagine no electricity for months, no internet, no refrigeration, no functioning transportation systems. Water treatment plants would fail, communication networks would collapse, and the financial system could be thrown into chaos. The ripple effects of such an event would touch every aspect of our lives, disrupting food supply chains, healthcare services, and even national security. Think about what this means. Hospitals without power, grocery stores unable to restock, no access to clean water. In a matter of days, society as we know it could begin to break down. The economic impact alone could be measured in the trillions of dollars, with markets crashing and industries grinding to a halt. But it's not just the economic toll, there would also be a significant human cost. Without the infrastructure we rely on, the most vulnerable among us would suffer the most. This isn't just science fiction, we've already seen smaller scale disruptions from solar storms, and the evidence suggests that we're overdue for another major event. The last time a CME of catastrophic potential hit Earth was in 1859, the Carrington Event. If a similar event were to occur today in our hyper-connected world, the results could be devastating. While climate change is a slow-moving, long-term threat that gives us time to adapt and mitigate, a CME is sudden and without warning. It could happen tomorrow or 5 years from now, but when it does, the consequences will be immediate and far-reaching. The good news is that with the right investments in infrastructure, we can prepare for this possibility. Strengthening our power grids, developing early warning systems, and planning for worst-case scenarios are all crucial steps we must take. As we continue to focus on the long-term health of our planet, we cannot afford to ignore the more immediate dangers that could set us back centuries in a matter of hours. So the next time you think about the threats facing our world, remember to look up. The sun may be 93 million miles away, but its impact on our planet could be closer than we think. Subscribe to Beyond Tech to stay informed about the future's biggest challenges and how we can prepare for them. Thanks for watching.